Well, now that Mr. Harper has passed, I'm going to have to move to my shop in town. I think his children are probably going to sell his place. I have the task of moving all that accumulated stuff that we've accumulated, that he gave me and I accumulated over the past 5 years. So I need to start moving that into my new shop. So going to work every morning at Mr. Harper's was a pretty nice thing. He doesn't live too far from where I do. But relocating to the new shop is going to be a pleasure too, because my wife's going to have her. I bought this building shortly after I started with Mr. Harper, thinking I'd move that business down there. But as he started failing, I decided I'd just stay at his place until he passed. I made a promise to him that he'd get an income from it as long as I was alive, and as long as he was alive. So that's what we did. But now that he's passed, I guess I'm on my own. And I've got all this stuff to move. You know, got parts racks, and it's just a big mess. I'm going to take these tubs and fill them with circuit boards and whatever I can. I'm just having a hard time picking this thing up. Let's see what we can do with this. Yeah. I'm going to go to the new shop today. I've got a lot of my woodworking stuff down there that's going to be in the way. Guess I need to pack it up and bring it back to the house. Looks like I have to drive very slow. There we go. Here's a pump. More pumps. Load number 1. Actually, load number 2. Now, I already picked up my toolbox. There's the big new building, the big blue building. So my shop will be over here where this double door is, and my wife's shop is on that side. She's going to have a flea market type business. She's been working in there for the past month or so, trying to get everything lined up. Back again for load number 2, 3. We're shedding parts. That is a brand new. Well, they're pretty easy. The wife and I bought this in 2019, shortly after I started working with Mr. Harper. And it was a family property. The father had died and the children had moved off to different areas. And it was all tied up in a family trust, and they were trying to liquidate things. And it had been on the market for a long time, and they finally took it off. And I was looking for a place to put the shop, and it was either borrow the money and try to build a shop of similar size. This thing is 80 by 40. My wife and I came and looked at it. It was kind of just a gutted building. It wasn't anything in it, and it needed a lot of repairs, and it was very reasonable, so we picked it up at a reasonable price. And we put a lot of money into it, and we're still putting money into it to get it to where we want it. I couldn't have built a shop for what I have in it now. We put the parking bumpers in this week. I missed a lot of good videos this week, not having the camera with me and not turning it on as I did projects around here to move in. But I've got my sign here, and what we're doing, we've essentially kind of divided this thing into half. I'm going to have my washer and dryer business over on this side, and she's going to have a flea market on this side. So we're going to go inside, and in some of my videos you've seen the inside of this shop. This is what it looks like here. Now I've moved a lot of stuff in from Mr. Harper's that I've collected over the 5 years I've been in. I bought a nice roll around toolbox from Sam's. Those are nice. I kind of like them. It's not snap-on, but it's nice. Now I had to move. If you've seen pictures of this before, I've had all my woodworking equipment in here, and I needed room to work on washers and dryers. It's not as a secure area as Mr. Harper's, but I took most of my woodworking equipment home, and I kind of left this right here. I left my bandsaw and my table saw. I had bought these to put parts in, and last years of Mr. Harper's life, he sat out there with me sorting old parts. Most of them were obsolete, and he just didn't ever throw anything away. But I found that I could consolidate 4 of those down to about 1.5. I mean, 1.5 parts. And then I bought these roll around trays here to keep parts on. And I'm not quite finished in here. If you look over here in the kitchen area, you can see when we bought this was gutted. It had no insulation on the walls. It had the old fiberglass insulation with a vinyl backing on it. Was falling down, and I had to take it off all of these walls in this area, and I replaced it with this really nice insulation here. I glued this to the walls, and the insulation that was up there, I ran strips, and then I laid this silver stuff down on the strip. So there's actually another insulation area above, and this silver one at the same time. Now when I came here, there was one central office in here. This firewall wasn't here, and this central office had old paneling and stuff on it, and it stopped. There was a deck above it that people that were in here stored whatever kind of business it was. I think it was a feed store, and they stored this stuff up in there, up on top. This staircase ran down that way where that mirrored door is, and I had my contractor move the staircase over here and build a room up there, and we'll get to that in a minute. Now what I plan to do is all along the bottom here is do the same design here with this smartboard paneling. Now you can see where we started over here, and we stopped because we're doing this. We're not borrowing any money to do this. We save up, and as we go we complete it. But it won't be long. I'll complete that. I'll put that smart paneling all the way around back over to here, and it'll be finished then. And then what I plan on doing is on the smart paneling walls. That's some good stuff because it's, what is it, about 1/2 inch thick or 3/8? I'm not sure. It's about 1/2 inch thick, and it's hard, and you can hang stuff on the walls without it's not like drywall. Now what I plan on doing is taking those racks over there, taking these things out here and screwing them onto the wall in that corner over there where I can keep my parts. And then the other plan is for this door here. I recently put this door in to get a cross breeze in this way. And I'm going to put a big ass fan up here for air circulation. Now this is my side, and of course I'm just moving in and I don't have it organized yet. It's really hard to change from one system you have to another. I don't have any area right now to pressure wash in. The plan is to come out back here and I'll come out back and I'll put a slab out here. I own the property up to about 15 feet away this side of if you can see that ditch line right there, it goes along there and it turns about where that telephone pole is and goes out to the guy wires on that telephone pole. So I have a big area out here to work with. Right now it doesn't look too well, but I'm going to put an 8-foot privacy fence, a gate through there. I'll be able to drive all the way through to the next road, and I'll put an 8-foot privacy fence and probably some nursery cloth and gray rock out here to mitigate the grass issue. Now on this other side, on my wife's side, this is some of her stuff. She's setting her flea market up. She's pretty much got a lot of her stuff in here, and I think she's planning on opening for business next month. But she has a lot of stuff. This girl has collected this stuff. This has been her dream for a lot of years, and she has collected things to sell, and she just lives for it. She likes doing this kind of stuff. She bought this boat, had me take the seats out of it and make a stand for it. And she wants to make like a coffee area here for her friends, and we turned that boat into a bench. It works pretty well. And this boat here's we live on the Calcasieu River in Louisiana, and back in my father's day and in my early days, these flat bottom cypress boats were what people used on the river. We didn't use pirogues in this area. We used these flat bottom river boats, and there were a few men in the area that were skilled enough to make these. My father was one. He's made several of these boats. I don't have any of his boats, but our neighbor had this boat that his father had, that Mr. David Stallsby built it for Earl Greer, and Mark Greer, our neighbor, donated this to my wife for her shop, and she wanted me to hang it upside down and put these lamps on it for her. And that's what we did. And she told me, came by one day and said, "Hey, I need you to go by and pick this boat up." I said, "What boat?" And it was this boat. And the bottom was rotted out of it, and it was one of the old river boats, and it was just laid out in front of a man's business who kind of sells junk and old cars and stuff. And I said, "What'd you pay for that?" She said, $100. Well, I almost came unglued because it was just a wreck, but she had plans for it, and this was the plans. She had me build shelves inside it and hang it on the wall. That was her. The girl has dreams, and I'm here to make them come true, I guess. And that's what men do for their spouses. And we must have driven 100 miles to get this particular sink that she saw on the internet. So we went down south and picked this up one day, and she wanted this sink for her area, and she had all these plans. Now she needed a sales counter, and nothing we could find pleased her, and the ones that did please her cost too much. So she sketched out a plan of what she wanted. We went down to the big box store, got all the materials, and I built this sales counter for her. She's working on her door here. Anyway, it's cluttered at the moment, but what I did is I went to a place that sold pre-made cabinets, and I bought this unit and that unit and the countertops, some plywood, little trim, threw it together, and she's just tickled pink with it. So that's what I like. Now I was worried about heating and cooling this area, because now this big old metal building, it gets super hot in the summertime and super cold in the winter. And so I bought these mini splits. I have one here and one over there, and my boy and I installed them, and I installed the inside units, and I waited for him to come help me install the outside units. And those things are just amazing. Just to test it out, I ran those units at 72 degrees and I have 2 window units for the office and the YouTube studio, and I ran them 24/7 during the hottest month of the year. Temperatures were over 100 degrees. I think the average temperatures was 105 degrees for 22 consecutive days. And I ran both my window units, that one, and those 2, and in and out using lights and stuff. And our total electricity bill was like $187, and that was incredibly economical for this area. This is my office. It's got some of her stuff in it still, but we're getting things gradually put together. We put this smart siding over paneling and put new floors in. I need to fix some lights in here, but other than that, this is going to be the main office for the washer and dryer business. I don't spend much time in here. I'm always out there working. And this office had this bathroom in it. It had a shower in it. Couldn't understand why, but it had this shower in it. So we put new shower doors on and have a hose in there to fill a mop bucket. But upstairs is my YouTube studio, and I'm sure several of y'all who follow the channel have seen the inside of this room several times. It had lots of echoes. I had to put, and it still does, but I had to put things on the wall. And this drives me crazy because the roof is slanted, the picture's level, but my OCD just cringes when I walk up these stairs and see this painting here that my wife hung. But this is where most of the YouTube stuff is shot. Have my lights, my microphone, of course my camera, another light if I need it. There's a small television. Someday this might be just a guest room for somebody. And we made our own private bathroom with a shower that's never been used and needs to be cleaned out. Since it's been installed, I've never cleaned it out. But this is where all the magic's done. But when we first got this was just a plywood floor, and there was a hot water tank in that corner over there where the shower is. And I asked my contractor, I said, hey, could you put a toilet up here? He said, sure. So he put the toilet in and the sink. I said, we'll put a shower up here too. And he did. And it looks very nice. Of course, I did all the painting and we put the floors in, and my contractor did all the work. We put smart paneling on the roof, insulated it very well. I think from here to the metal roof is about 8 inches, and just packed it full of insulation, and it keeps it fairly cool in here. Of course, I had to, when I first got in here, the echo was astounding. I had to put sound dampeners all around, put some more furniture and stuff in here to keep the echo down. And it's still not the way I like it, but it is what it is. But from up here you can kind of see where my new washer and dryer business is going to be. It's not the same business. It's just in a newer location. But the original plan was just to have this as a woodworking shop, but now it's going to be the washer and dryer business. But that's going to be the new shop. And this is where it's going to be nice because the wife and I will come to work together and go home together. And of course she has her side, I have mine. Keeping that woman out of my tools is going to be a chore. I actually got this toolbox here and I'm trying to fill it full of tools that she might want. And I told her the other day, I said, you see that red toolbox? Those tools are sacred. I said, if I catch you getting any of the tools out of my red toolbox, that's grounds for divorce. And she just cocked her little head and said, you think? Next thing I knew, she had one of my screwdrivers. Anyway, this is what it's going to look like.